It's good that we are focusing on compassion this Sunday and this year. It was founded in 1952, so 60 years of this amazing work. And it's one of the leading Christian children's charities. Its approach to fighting poverty is highly focused and personal. Sponsors are connected to and known by individual children as their only sponsors. So there is a relationship built up between sponsor and the child. Through prayers and messages of encouragement, sponsors play a vital role in building the confidence of the sponsored child and affirming their worth in God's eyes. And I learned that today Compassion partners with more than 8,000 churches in 25 countries to deliver proven child development programs to more than 2 million infants, children and young people. Around the world, children, families and entire communities are being empowered to overcome poverty and to thrive both now and into the future. And we're going to see a little video that comes from Compassion on sponsorship. I can hear it. They're coming, they're coming. Here. Hey. Haley's sent a presentation of PowerPoint slides that I want to share with you now on this Compassion Sunday, celebrating our work to empower the lives of children living in extreme poverty. So what has been our impact as Compassion sponsors, as a church? Have the next slide. So, more than 3,000 hours of children's at projects and over 1,000 meals served. At least 17 medical checkups from visiting doctors. And a Bible given to each child who has been sponsored. Your support, our support, really does make a life-changing difference. And what have we given since we began this sponsorship? I think it was 2015, roughly around there. We have given you have given £2,602 with 5 additional gifts to the children involved. So thank you, well done for that great effort in recent years. Over the last 12 months, you've given £2,602. Brilliant work. And our letters. Well, I know Sue sends letters on our behalf. Certainly the children have sent more letters than we have sent, which I think is a bit of a challenge to us. Over the last 12 months, you have received and written 21 letters. That's not just to Sue's in the church, but to those linked, the 6 children that are sponsored by church and members, and 9 letters have been sent. So maybe we could send a few more letters to encourage the children involved. We're going to hear a couple of letters now, and Julia is going to share a letter. The 2 children that Trinity sponsor are Mary and Christian, and we'll hear from them.
So the first one I'm going to read out is from Mary. So this is from July last year. However, it didn't come to us until November, December time. So, dear Trinity United, High Wycombe. And first of all, it's a thank you message for the sponsor. So thank you for the general and birthday gifts sent to me. I bought a barrel, plastic chair, school bag, sandals, 20 exercise books, 5 notebooks and a study table. I have learnt at Project about the hygienic practices about menstruation, and it's helping me a lot. I am well. We are experiencing more rainfall these days. How about you? And then a prayer request from the child. Pray and thank God for my life and that of my family. I want God to protect and bless us abundantly. And I pray for our sponsor. I pray for God's protection for you. May you receive his blessings as you support my upbringing. So that's from Mary. And then Christian, we got a letter from his tutor in December. It was all in Spanish, so thank goodness it's been translated. Dear sponsors, Trinity United Reformed Church, High Wycombe. Who writes to you is Eric Linder, Christian's tutor. He sends you greetings with lots of love and hugs in the distance. He hopes that you are in good health. First, he thanks you for the birthday gift you sent, and with that he bought clothing that he loves a lot. He also thanks you for the beautiful letter you sent, and he loved to read it a lot, to know you are returning to your activities on Sunday with all the biosecurity measures. Regarding your questions, Christian wants to tell you that he was doing good in school. He got good grades and he passed to the next grade, and he is happy because next year he will start high school. Christian wants to tell you that he started the school break at the end of the year, and all the streets are decorated with lights and with Christmas decorations. He says goodbye, wishing you that you have a Merry Christmas and that God bless you abundantly with your family. Your beloved boy Christian and tutor. And Christian asks us to pray for his family, uncles and cousins, especially for his father, so he will have a good job so they do not lack anything.
That's great. I love how Mary addresses us as Trinity United. I think that could be such a good strapline. It sounds much more exciting than Trinity United Reformed Church. Let's go with Trinity United and find some kind of suitable stripe to wear. Those are two children, and we know there are other children that you sponsor. Martin and Marion sponsor Enoch and Kanzim. Yeah. Enoch's from, where are they from? Ghana? Rwanda. Yeah. And someone else sponsors Antonio in Brazil, but we don't know who. And someone else sponsors, this is a difficult one, Dusak Beyuzu in Rwanda. But again, we don't know which Trinity member does that. But thank you. So those 6 children, and those are photos. I'm not quite sure who's who, but those are the... Sorry? Christian's the bottom middle. Mary's the bottom right. Do we know it? As Tanzine at the top on the right. And Enoch down the bottom on the left. And then that must be Antonio in the middle at the top, and Duzum Bayuzu. She's got a wonderful name, from Rwanda. So do pray for those children. They pray for us, and they pray God's blessing on us. So do pray God's blessing on them and their tutors and whole communities and families. Let's have the next slide, which talks about the countries. And so we have 4 countries involved with this. 2 children in Ghana, 2 in Rwanda, 1 in Bolivia and 1 in Brazil, working in Africa and South America especially. There's a slide about how they've responded to COVID. Obviously, that's made life and work very difficult at times. But COVID-19 has greatly increased the need among the countries and communities where our church partners work. During this time, we provided critical necessities like food, shelter, medical interventions, and hygiene support. In addition, our staff are innovative and have still been able to minister to children in the following ways. There have been no online contact, it's been in person. 21% delivering support in children's homes, 38% in small groups of children meeting together, and 35% in projects in the open. Reflects the technology in those communities. So great that work has been continued despite all the difficulties. And then the next slide about the wider community, because the support of children is not just for their benefit, but for the whole community and neighbourhood. Most of your sponsored children live in a town location, in a forest setting. The most common house construction is brick, block and cement, with tin and corrugated iron roofs. Beautiful backgrounds, but then of course great poverty in the towns themselves. Hayley would have shared the story of a graduation, one of the Compassion children who now grown up, adult, young adult. Ronnie remembers getting his first pair of shoes at the Compassion Project. He'd gone barefoot before then. He received his first Bible at the Holiday Club run by his Compassion Project and committed to following Christ when he was 16 years old. He studied civil engineering at the university in Kampala and came to the UK as part of the Peckham Urban Mission Scheme, where young people spend 1 or 2 years working for the church. And he says, compassion gave me hope and the ability to dream, to say, this is what I want to be when I grow up. Before that, I didn't know. And he's training to be a teacher. And so from that encouragement as a child and that support, now he can support many others and bring real blessings to his community and nation. So Hayley would, above all, with the next slide, want to say thank you. And she does convey her thanks through email to me. She is so disappointed not to be here and has promised that she'd love to come and visit us, even if it's just to meet us over coffee. So we will arrange for that to happen this year at some point. Thank you, Trinity United Reformed Church, High Wycombe. You are making an incredible difference to children living in extreme poverty. And of course, she would say, well, what is the next step? What more can we do as a church community? And so the thank you is followed by a challenge. What could we do more? Well, we can continue the good work we're doing. So let's engage and stay connected. And of course, with all the technology nowadays, there are apps and websites that you can use to do that. And we will always have something in the church newsletter as well. Perhaps we can encourage Corzen to get involved in this scheme as well. So engage and stay connected. We can encourage each other to make a difference, encourage those that we sponsor and the charity itself. Pray with us. The Compassion charity asks us for our prayers. Pray for our church partners, for creativity, strength and wisdom as they support children and their families. For wisdom for governments, and we certainly need to pray for wisdom for governments at the moment, and those in positions of leadership, and protection over children and their families. And they're thinking especially of Ghana at the moment, with many of the challenges in that area. Engage and encourage, and she couldn't find an E, but respond. Respond. We can, all individually or as a church community, respond. We began by sponsoring one child, and we've moved to sponsoring two as a church family. We can consider more. And as individuals, we can consider whether this is something that we're being called to do. 3 easy ways to sponsor a child for £28 per month today. And that will transform a life. Well, I leave that challenge with you to engage, to encourage, to respond. I guess respond could be changed into empower, to empower others by our response. And that's going to be the theme of our reading chosen by Hayley, a reading that means a lot to her in her own Christian journey. And Sue's going to be the narrator, not typecasting, but I'm the invalid, and Alan is going to be Jesus. It's a lot to live up to, Alan.
The reading is from John 5, verses 1 to 15. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem, near the Sheep Gate, a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralysed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him,
"Do you want to get well?"
The invalid replied,
"Sir, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get there – and get in, someone else goes down ahead of me."
Then Jesus said to him,
"Get up, pick up your mat and walk."
At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath, and so the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied,
"The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'"
So they asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. Later, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him,
"See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you."
The man went away and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had made him well. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.